The Interstellar Academy Station Helen 4 orbited a pale blue gas giant, its ring lights shimmering like a cosmic halo. Students from 37 known species attended the academy. Diplomats, heirs, future scientists, commanders in training. Its halls buzzed with languages flickering like constellations, neon signs shifting script depending on who walked by. Yet among the swirling crowds, one figure always seemed to move alone. Princess Ilana Voerar, heir to the Lixari Dominion, was feared for reasons no one openly discussed. Her species, sleek, tall, with luminous geometric markings along their skin, was known for their psionic abilities strong enough to bend metal or minds. Their diplomacy style involved pressure more than persuasion, and their warships had ended conflicts in blinding flashes of violet light. Ilana, with her gradient silver to violet eyes, carried the weight of that reputation. Every day, she sat at the same seat in the Academy Commons, a curved bench beneath a glowing bio-tree whose leaves emitted teal light. And every day, the seat beside her remained empty. Whispers followed her like shadows. Don't get too close. She can read your thoughts. She once crushed a man's wrist without touching him. Her kingdom conquered half a quadrant. They say she commanded a fleet at 13. None of it was true. But no one ever asked. Beginning. On the first day of the new term, a shuttle arrived carrying transfer students from Earth's Academy of Terran Exploration. Among them was Kai Mercer, a human with dark hair, broad shoulders, and a stubborn curiosity that repeatedly got him into trouble. His instructors claimed he was too unafraid of danger for his own good. His friend said he was simply too nosy. As Kai stepped into the commons for lunch, he scanned the room for somewhere to sit. Most tables were filled with tightly packed clusters of species who kept to their own. The only space open, completely open, was the curved bench beneath the luminescent tree. He spotted the princess immediately. Hard to miss. She sat perfectly still, elegantly composed, her long silver tendrils drifting like silk in the recycled wind of the station's vents. A faint, glowing pattern pulsed under her skin in slow waves, like breathing light. Everyone else gave her a wide berth. Kai saw the empty seat and shrugged. Seat's a seat, he thought. He walked toward her, tray in hand. From across the commons, dozens of eyes widened. He's really going to do it. Is he suicidal? Humans are strange, but this is new. Ilana looked up as he approached, her head tilting slightly as if she were tuning into a strange frequency. Kai stopped in front of the bench. Is this seat taken? Ilana's eyes flickered with confusion, then suspicion. No. Cool. He sat down, and the entire room froze. Ilana looked at him as if he had just sat beside a supernova. Do you know who I am? Sure, Kai said, taking a bite of something that claimed to be pasta but tasted suspiciously like plastic. You're Ilana Voerar, princess. First in line for the Lixari throne. Supposedly a psychic powerhouse who could turn me into space dust if you sneezed too hard. Ilana blinked. And you still sat down? Well, yeah. Food courts crowded. She stared at him for a long time. Then, unexpectedly, she laughed. A soft, crystalline sound like the chiming of distant satellites. It was the first time anyone at Helion 4 had heard her laugh. Middle. Over the next few weeks, Kai kept sitting beside her. Every day. Without hesitation. And every day, the Academy watched like an audience following a serialized drama. Kai discovered that Ilana wasn't dangerous, simply lonely. Her mind talents were overwhelming to most people, so she kept heavy mental filters active at all times. It was like living with a soundproof wall between herself and the universe. With Kai, though, something was different. You're quiet, she said one day. I talk constantly, Kai said. Not your mouth, she replied. Your mind. Humans radiate emotion, but your thoughts don't strike like lightning. They're calm. Probably because I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. She laughed again. But their growing friendship didn't go unnoticed. Some students looked at Kai with awe, others with jealousy, and one, in particular, with hostility. Waitress Vale, an upper-year Lixery noble, believed himself destined to stand beside Ilana, politically, and in rumor, romantically. He strutted around the academy with the arrogance of someone who'd never once heard the word no. To him, Kai was a contaminant, a nobody, a soft-skinned human with no status. One afternoon, Waitress approached their bench. Kai Mercer, he said, voice dripping venom. You are sitting in a place meant for Lixery elites. Your presence diminishes its purpose. Kai raised an eyebrow. It's a bench. You are beneath her, Waitress said sharply. You do not belong at her side. Kai opened his mouth to respond, but Ilana stood up, her markings flaring brightly. Waitress, she said coldly. You mistake belonging for the shape of one's birth. That is a failure of vision. Waitress stiffened. Princess, this human, Ilana said, her voice like chilled starlight, is my friend. The word cracked through the commons like thunder. Waitress recoiled. His pride, wounded before an audience, twisted into rage. This isn't over, he spat, retreating. Ilana exhaled shakily and sat back down. You didn't have to defend me, Kai said. Yes, she replied softly. I did. From that day the atmosphere changed. Whispers turned from fear to fascination. Ilana was no longer the solitary princess, but the alien whose first friend was a human who didn't know how dangerous the world believed she was. But danger, unfortunately, was real. A month later, Heartwarming received a distress broadcast. Unidentified pirates, equipped with stolen cloaking tech, were approaching the station. Their objective was unknown, until Ilana felt it. A mind, sharp as a blade, stabbed against her mental shields. They were after her. The Lixery princess was worth a ransom that could buy a solar system. As alarms blared across the academy, Kai found Ilana standing in the center of an evacuation hallway, hands pressed to her temples. They're close, she whispered. They're trying to break in. We have to get you out, Kai said. No, she said. If I run, they'll pursue. They'll endanger everyone. Then we fight together. She looked at him in shock. Kai, I could hurt you. You won't. How do you know? Because you laughed at my jokes. She stared at him, then placed her glowing hand in his. Very well, she whispered. Together. Ending the pirates infiltrated through a maintenance hatch, cloaking devices flickering like oily distortions in the air. Kai grabbed a discarded shock baton. Ilana stepped forward, her markings burning like white fire. The first pirate lunged. Ilana lifted one hand. A ripple of psychic force hurled him backward, slamming him into a wall. Kai dodged another attacker, swinging the baton with all the strength he had. Ilana amplified his movements with subtle pulses of telekinesis, turning each strike into something impossible, something heroic. But the pirate leader, a towering reptilian mercenary, struck Ilana with a stun grenade calibrated to disrupt psionic waves. She collapsed to one knee, gasping. Kai didn't think. He charged. The leader backhanded him across the corridor. Kai slammed into the floor, vision blurring. But he forced himself to rise. Not leaving her. Not now. He stepped in front of her, arms spread, breathing ragged. If you want her, you go through me. The leader snarled. Then you die for. A scream of psionic power erupted behind Kai. Ilana rose, eyes blazing with incandescent fury. The stun grenade's effects burned away under a tidal wave of emotion, fear for Kai and something deeper. "You will not harm him," she growled. Her power exploded outward. A pulse of shimmering violet energy slammed the leader and his pirates against the hallway walls, pinning them like insects. Station security stormed in moments later, stunned by what they found. When it was over, Ilana dropped to her knees beside Kai. "Are you hurt?" "No worse than after my first academy sports exam," he groaned. "You okay?" She touched his cheek, her hand trembling. "You risked your life. You're my friend." Her eyes softened. "And you are my light in the dark." The academy hailed them as heroes. The empty seat by the luminescent tree was never empty again. Students from every species came to greet the princess who had saved them, and the human who had stood beside her without fear. One evening, long after the chaos had faded and Helen IV glowed peacefully against the stars, Ilana and Kai sat beneath the biotree once more. "Why did you really sit with me that first day?" she asked. Kai thought for a moment. "Because you looked lonely. And because I guess I wasn't afraid of what others were afraid of." "And now," she whispered. He smiled. "Now I know they were wrong about you." Ilana leaned lightly against his shoulder, luminous patterns dimming to a calm, gentle glow. "No one dared sit with the alien princess," she murmured, "until a human took the seat beside her." "And he'd do it again," Kai replied. And in the heart of an academy among the stars, where species collided and futures were forged, a story began, one of courage, connection, and the quiet power of simply choosing not to fear.